sound. There's a big girl there now. I can feel her knees.
That was the first thing. One of the first things Steve bought.
Yeah, it's so weird.
There you go.
He's like, we'll do it in the winter, we'll sell it. Grass sucks. Right. I was like, we're looking at 600. Is it, I mean, is it 40 or I was going to take it. It looks like pushing into that. And then once we get it on there, it's got okay. So we can grab them.
Okay, so how many summer people do we have? Who's a favorite summer? Not that many. Fall. Winter. Oh yeah. All right. And spring. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. So, interesting. I know some people a little bit more about the people that you sit around. So, building community is very important as we live life together and help each other out. So here we are, the last message of this AHA series about the prodigal son as we've lived through it. AHA stands for Awakening, Honesty, and Action. The word AHA is defined as sudden, understanding, recognition, or a resolution. So I have a little pencil up in the top right-hand corner, just a little note. If you like to take notes, there's notebooks around. Grab one of those and feel free to take notes and keep that with you. So, did anyone have an aha moment about anything at all this week? Did anyone have an aha moment? I'll tell you mine while you're thinking about that, okay? I had one this Friday night. We were playing, I was at a football game. The team wasn't doing so well. And one of those plays happened, right? I don't know, we either turned over the ball or we just didn't do very well. And the lady a couple rows behind us yelled the D word. She was just frustrated as all get out. Dagnabbit. A little more colorful than that. I mean, she said it really loud. And I don't know, I just kind of instinctively turned around and gave her a little eye, you know? My mom turned around and gave her 2 eyes. We didn't say anything, but just a little glance over our shoulder. And then a little bit later in the game, which we lost, there's another play. And then we hear, oh, that was horse crap. But this time they said crap. They didn't say the other word. And that was my aha moment about how the way we act and the way we carry ourselves, and we are the light of this world. We're the salt of this world. And then the other aha moment was how many people around her, the first time she yelled out the D word, how many people made that okay? Oh, it's okay. We're at a football game. Oh, it's okay. I say that too when I'm at a football game. But we made that okay. You know, luckily my kids weren't close by, but of course anybody within a 50-foot radius would have heard her. It was really loud, but I don't know if you ever think about how your actions and how we live as Christians, as we follow Christ, have an impact, a direct impact on this world. So much so that she said one thing, and then about 15 minutes later, when she had the opportunity to say the same words, she chose different words. So that was kind of my aha moment this week. Anyone else? Did anyone else have an aha moment? All right. So the three ingredients that come together to produce our awe are a sudden awakening. You have to understand, oh, I'm in a bad place. I need to change. Honesty, that what I did got me to where I'm at, the place where I'm at. And then immediate action. It's great to understand where you're at and that you got yourself there, but then you got to do something to get yourself back home to where God is. So we're looking at the prodigal son here. So let's kind of recap what we talked about here with the prodigal son. First of all, he asked for his share of the estate, which meant he was asking for his inheritance, which also meant in order to get the inheritance, somebody has to die to receive the inheritance. So he's essentially telling his dad, Dad, I wish you would have dropped dead. Give me my money so I can go on with life. So that was his first thing he did. He asked for his share of the inheritance. Then he left for a distant country. It doesn't tell us where he went, just the fact that he left. There's also the fact that he believed he could live life greater and better and have more fun or whatever he was looking for away from his father's house. In this parable, the father is God. The father is God, right? So he left God. Things maybe worked out for a day or two or a week, we really don't know. But then he finally came to his senses. He realized where he was at was not what he had hoped for. He was in a pig pen, watching the pigs eat the food, wondering if he could have some of that food, right? So he came to his senses. The next thing, he says, I have sinned. And that's big in the aha moment, to have honesty with yourself, to know that what you did caused this. Not what somebody else did or to blame somebody else, but what you have done. I have sinned. I have done this to myself. I have gotten myself in this predicament. And for us, maybe it's a predicament of drugs and alcohol. Maybe it's a predicament of lying. Maybe it's a predicament of controlling. Maybe it's a predicament of financial decisions that have you just so overwhelmed with debt that you can't think straight. And then he finally decided it's time to go home. And the two words, his action was he got up. Where he was up at, he got up. And he began coming home. He had a direction. He said, I'm going back to my father's house. Even though it wasn't perfect there, it was a lot better than what I'm doing now. All right? So that's where we are with the prodigal son story. In that aha moment. You see, when the Holy Spirit leads us on the path of aha, not every story ends back at the Father's house. Not everyone goes through all three steps and makes it back to the Father's house. So I want to talk a little bit about how's your story going? How's your aha story going? Is it going to make it back to this Father's house? Did you make it back to the Father's house? What part are you hung out on, maybe? Because, you know, we can all be sitting here together and we have friends around and family going through aha moments, working their way back home. So the first thing you can ask yourself is, have you been awakened? Did you hear the call from God to say, hey, this isn't what I have planned for you. I need you to wake up. I need you to wake up and see where you're at and that this isn't what I have. I've got something much greater planned. I have plans to prosper you, plans to take care of you, as it says in Jeremiah. But you see, in verse 17, it says, when he came to his senses, he was awakened. God had finally got a hold of him and awakened him. And when his eyes were opened, he had no money left. He had no friends. He had no job. He's with the pigs in the pig pen. The first thing in our aha story is to be awakened. Once that happens, you have to be honest. Have you been honest with yourself? Have you been honest with the questions of asking yourself, how did I end up in this predicament? How did I get to the pig pen? What led me down this path? Why did I even leave the Father's house to begin with? Did I think I could do it better? And if so, how's that turned out for you? Right? Have you been honest with it? And to ask yourself those questions, which is great personal reflection. How am I doing with life? Am I being honest with myself? In verse 18, the prodigal son says, I have sinned. He finally broke down. He finally tore down all those walls, stopped blaming everybody else, stopped blaming his father, stopped blaming his older brother, and all the people he ran into contact with, and he finally said, I have sinned. Brutally honest with themselves. I made the big mistake. Now I gotta fix it. Now I gotta get back right with God. Second thing is to be honest. And then the third piece is, have you taken action? I love this little picture here of the fish jumping from one bowl to the other. And you know what? It might seem like a huge leap. It might be very small, but it might seem huge to you because once you go to the distant country seems very familiar to you. It becomes normal to you. And you forget what life is at the Father's house. So going back could be a huge leap. But it takes action on our part. We can be honest with ourselves and we can understand that we've done wrong and we need to get back to the Father's house. But you know what? We're still in the pig pen unless we get up and get out of the pig pen. Right? So have you taken any action? And, you know, even in just a year's time, which seems like a long time to some people, but when we had the football meet the team here a year ago, when we had it, they were in the midst of an 0-10 season. And you could just see the frustration on their faces and the defeat on their faces to not win a game. Well, a year later, we had to meet the football team, and I get to talk to them up here. And they're in the middle of a 4-game winning streak. So just in 1 year, just for that example of that football team, of how much has changed when you take action. Verse 20 says, so he got up and went to his father. So there's the action. He got himself up and the direction. He went to his father. If you want to be debt-free, then your action is you're going to get up and you're going to make a plan about spending. And you're going to choose to spend on this and not on this. You're going to set yourself up a budget. And then in a year's time, you can see how much changed, how much you have gotten up, how much has changed in that. Maybe it's with your relationships that you're going to decide, I need to change. Maybe it's with God that you know, as you're going to say, that's it, I need to get a little bit more focused. I need direction. I need action. And then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read my Bible every day. I'm going to make sure I don't miss church. I'm not going to let my family or my friends keep me away from church. I'm going to invite them instead because I know it's important and I need to get back to God. It's about going home. God is calling us home. It doesn't matter where that distant country was or what got us there. The temptation may be of riches or maybe of love or the affections of somebody, you know. But what God is there, God is saying, hey, it's time to come home. Now, the exciting thing about it, the prodigal son makes his way home. And while he's still far off, the father's watching for him. And he sees him. And what does he do? He doesn't run back and lock the doors. He doesn't turn off the lights and shut the curtains and peek out. I hope he doesn't see us. He runs out to him. And he says, welcome home, son. He runs out and he picks him up and says, I've been waiting for you to come home. And then he throws a heck of a party. He says, bring out the good clothes, bring out the good shoes, bring out the best food we have, and let's celebrate because he's home. What an exciting time that is. There's many videos that share this prodigal son story. One of my favorites here I want to share with you is just under 3 minutes long. It looks like it was shot by a bunch of kids at church camp probably, but The way it's done, I think it really sells the story. So check this out, and then we'll wrap it up.
There is a man with 2 sons. There's a older son and a younger son. He asked for money, and I want my share of your money. So he ran away, and his dad was just waiting on the porch waiting for him to come back. Then he was having good times going to parties and stuff, buy expensive clothes, eat expensive food. He spent all his money and he was poor. Only thing he can work for is feeding pigs. He was so hungry that he ate the pigs. He tried some pig food and then he thinks, what am I doing? He knew what was right to come back home. He thought that his father would be angry with him. He was just waiting at his porch for him to come back. He sees him walking up the street and he runs down and gives him a hug. Oh, wait, my son's back. Sorry for running away. I'm glad you're home. They invited all the townspeople over. They had a big party. Very pouty. He never had a party thrown for him. His father came to talk to him. Why does he get a party but not me? And he said to his son, everything that I have is yours. We thought your brother was dead, but he's alive.
Some on top of the world, I'm on top of the world. We've done this for a while now. Paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to start it. The whole thing for a while. Take you with me if I can. The dream of this is a child. I'm on top of the world.
All right. So the son makes it back, and the father rushes out to get him. And we have a celebration. Would you like to celebrate tonight, friends? Yeah. Oh, come on, you want to celebrate? Yeah! Let's have a celebration. Turn around here. All right, I'll tell you what, the rest of the time we're just going to celebrate, okay? Because one of the cool things about it was that he came back to God, so together was their future. It wasn't the son by himself, it was the son with God. So you can know that when you get back to God, he's not going to leave you alone. He's never going to forsake you. It's together that you have a future together. We're going to turn